This whole week, there was one, maybe two objectives. One, not to break the lows that we had Monday or Thursday with the major averages. And the second, try not to get President Trump to tweet anything that would drop the markets. Well, we were very good for most of the week. And then we got the car tariffs, we got the inflation read, the PCE, which might have spooked the market, spooked the markets a lot. And we got a very bad week. So let's dive in and see what happened this week. So hello everyone, my name is Micha. And on this channel, we talk about stocks, we talk about the news, and we do it on a weekly basis. So let's directly dive in. If you're new, it would be amazing if you can subscribe to the channel and turn notifications on. Yes, I already said it was a lousy week. Look at the week. Up until Thursday, Friday, we were okay. Why? Why did we need the tariffs? And this is how we ended the week. Dow Jones down almost 1%, S&P down 1.5%, Russell down 1.6%, and the Nasdaq down 2.3%. When we look at the indices themselves, only consumer staples is on the green. All the rest are red. And the reasons for that is pretty easy. Consumer staples, you buy towels, you buy, toilet papers and all the basic things that you need when you cry because the markets are falling. So technology down 3.5%, communications down 1.9%, industrials down 1.5%, and a lot more. Crypto, no hiding in the crypto area. Bitcoin down 6%, Ethereum down 11.7%. Risk off, risk off, risk off. Everyone is afraid. And where are they running to? Gold and silver up between 1.9 to 2.8%. Natural gas up 3.4%, not related, of course, to the situation. And crude oil up 1.3%. That brings us directly to the lousy 8. Lousy 8, yes. Nvidia down 1.5, Broadcom down 1.6, Apple down, Microsoft down, Tesla down, Meta down, Amazon down, and Google down almost 5%. When you look at those companies on a weekly basis, you can see that some of them for the last 3 to 5 weeks are just down and down and down. Will we get a relief rally? Will we get a lot better on April 2nd? More on that later. And fear and greed. We are again at extreme fear. I think we're actually being in these extreme fear readings for so long, a lot more than usual. And all this, when you look at the grand scheme of things, we are less than 10% down from all-time highs. People are exaggerating the situation a lot more than it is, at least with the major averages. Some of the stocks that ran very hard are now falling like a rock. But still, they're above their Monday and Tuesday lows from 2 weeks ago. So what was the news this week that actually generated all the movements in the market? We'll start with xAI, X and xAI. So the situation is the following. xAI is let's call it the competitor for OpenAI, and that came from X, from Twitter. It was established as a different company, same owner, Elon Musk, but of course, a lot of investors. It acquired X, all this from Friday, with a valuation of $80 billion for xAI, buying X for $33 billion. Basically, money is moving around from one side to the other, but the good thing is that now there won't be pressure on Tesla shareholders that Elon Musk might sell stock in order to prevent a margin loan on X. Both private companies, so they're not really impacting the market except Tesla. Okay, PCE Friday came in okay. Only the core PCE came in a bit hotter than expected. 0.4 versus 0.3. Shows the PCE, the core PCE 2.8. Is that the reason why the Fed will not reduce rates? I'm not so sure. The bond market is not so sure, but the market is fearful right now. AAII, the 5th week of above 50% bears. History shows that when you're 5 weeks this way, in a year you'll be double digits up. It only happened, I think, 4 times in the history of AAII reading. Everyone is very fearful. Maybe we should also be fearful, but we're just down less than 10%. We can keep on going down, but put it in perspective. President Trump, and this made the market shake and vibrate. President Trump on Thursday announced 25% tariffs on all autos that are not manufactured in the U.S. This, of course, brings the situation to a point where GM and Ford and Stellantis have a big problem, and their cars are probably going to be more expensive. This, of course, relates to Porsche and Ferrari and all the rest, which will need to increase their prices. And if they increase the prices, that means inflation might keep going up. The only company that probably is less impacted by that is Tesla. Intel secures a $1.9 billion deal with SK Hynix. Eli Lilly fails to get the EU approval for early Alzheimer's disease. Masayoshi Son wants to present a $1 trillion plan to make AI-powered industry park across the US. Trump would probably love that. EU is going to limit their fines on Apple and Meta just not to spite Donald Trump. CoreWeave IPO'd on Friday. There was a lot of discussion if it's going to be, the IPO was priced at $40, and the fact that the market didn't go crazy on the IPO also created that pressure that if no one is excited at AI anymore, then maybe we have an issue. It ended $40 on the IPO, which, depending on how you look at it, is bad, it's good. No one really knows. Alibaba launches a new open source AI model. It's a cost-effective AI agent. It's called Qwen 2.5 Omni 7B. Rocket Lab and Stoke Space secured together a $5.6 billion national security launch contract. And this story is the most crazy story that you're going to hear this week. Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, Wednesday or Thursday, we're getting a decision by Donald Trump, which is pardoning or giving a pardon to Trevor Milton. Trevor Milton was the founder and the CEO of a company called Nikola Motors. Nikola Motors created trucks, electric-powered trucks. Up to now, everything sounds okay. Why did he need the pardon? Why was he sitting in jail? Very simple. He said that his cars are driving with electric motors, but actually, they didn't even have a motor. The film was filmed when the trucks were in a descending road, and he presented it as if they were driving. They met a milestone or hit a milestone of driving with electric motors, meaning he had a security fraud. He went to jail on security fraud. Okay. Wednesday, he gets a pardon. President Trump says, because he was treated bad. Well, that might not be the reason. Friday, we get probably the right reason. So Trevor Milton is the defendant. As you can see, this is his appeal papers. But guess who was representing him? Alexandra Shapiro, Avery Majuk, and Bradley J. Bundy. Yes, the last name might be known to you. Guess who Bradley's sister is? You're right, Pam Bundy, the new AG. Crazy story. Robinhood presented that they have 3.2 million gold paid subscribers. These are subscribers that are paying $5 a month, and they're going to get a lot more. They're going to get banking service. They're going to get RIA capabilities. They're going to get AI capabilities. They're going to get a lot more to a point where Robinhood wants to present themselves as a fintech bank. That, of course, puts SoFi on the run after kind of sleeping on the wheel. And that's why SoFi stock went down during the week. Amazon wants to provide you things that you might spend your money on, and it's going to be powered by AI. GameStop is going with after Strategy's footsteps, and they have raised $1.3 billion in convertible debt offerings in order to buy, yes, Bitcoin. And Nvidia is in trouble in China because China wants to limit the amount of energy that is being produced. And that, of course, will hurt the number of GPUs that will be implemented in China. Dollar Tree wants to sell Family Dollar business for $1 billion. Waymo is supposed to launch robotaxi in DC by 2026. And this is a very interesting take. June this year, in Austin, Tesla, in theory, is supposed to start robo-taxi services. Did they get the approval or not? It's not really clear, but no doubt they thanked both Austin City and Texas Department of Transportation. They wouldn't thank them if they didn't get, but WWDC is going to run between June 9th and June 13th. And there's a lot of things that Apple needs to do. One thing is to come clean, because last year they presented a lot of things and most of them didn't happen. So now investors and analysts are looking at them and saying, okay, what are you going to present today? Tesla showcased their humanoid robots, Optimus, in Capitol Hill this week. Tech CEOs urged Trump to revise the AI chip export curve because they want to export chips to other countries, not only China, but also UAE and India. And we're talking about India. India is supposed to cut their tariffs in order to not to get reciprocal tariffs from Donald Trump on Liberation Day. We're going to talk about that in a second. And Baba's chairman warns that he thinks that we're in the beginning of some kind of bubble in the AI space. Is he right? Is he wrong? We don't really know. We will see that probably in the next few years, because a bubble takes time until it builds up. April 2nd, that's the only date you need to know for next week. April 2nd, Liberation Day. This is the day where Trump is supposed to announce all the tariffs. Everything, the reciprocal and not the reciprocal, the auto, the pharma, the oil, everything. If the market priced it correctly, then nothing should change. If the market didn't price it correctly, to the downside, meaning that the market wasn't aggressive enough, we will see more selling. But if the market exaggerated on the way they priced Liberation Day, we might see, according to Tumble, a face-ripping rally. Is he right? Is he wrong? We will see only probably April 2nd and April 3rd. When we look at companies that are reporting this week, nothing special. Next week, if I'm not mistaken, the week after this, we're starting to get the banks, so that we have time. From a macro perspective, we only have Liberation Day, and of course, Friday we'll get the non-farm payroll for the month of March. And that brings us to the S&P 500. S&P 500 had a very bad week. As you can see, we had 3 hard selling days, but we are still above the Thursday low. I assume, or my assumption is that we are going to test this low at around 5,500. If we don't break it, that's a very good sign, because in a technical perspective, we will then create a double bottom that will enable the market to go up. If we break it down, or if Liberation Day isn't priced correctly, we might see a continued deterioration. And as you can see, the 200-day moving average held as resistance this time as well. So we're kind of between 5,500. This is the price to look at. If we start going up and we break above 5,700, that might result in a very strong rally. And the last thing that everyone was talking about this week was ChatGPT's new capabilities. New capabilities that, at the end of the day, summed up for everyone to run the same pictures in Ghibli studio style. And here's Donald Trump. Liberation Day on Ghibli style. That's everything that happened this week. There were a lot of smaller things, but if you want to summarize this week, Trump, tariffs, April 2nd. Till next week. And next week, we're going to summarize April, and we're also going to talk about the tariffs. Amazing week. Till next time. Micha Stocks saying bye-bye, and remember that nothing here was financial advice. Don't forget to smash that like button. Bye-bye.